You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 145.1, the Central Indiana Sports Daily Report, with high school and college sports news in Blackford, Delaware, Grant Howard, Madison, Tipton, and northern Hamilton counties, plus the Pacers and Purdue basketball this Sunday.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report. We are honored that you think us worthy of a listen. Today is January 12th, 2025. It's a Sunday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming to you today from Stage 15 in Lebanon. First time we've had a full podcast from here. Producer Susie is in the control room at headquarters in Jeffersonville. Welcome to the Central Indiana Sports Report's daily sports report for January 12th, 2025. We take a glance of everything that's going on in Central Indiana sports on Sunday. Most days we start with high school sports, but Sunday is usually the exception. We start Sunday's daily report with the Pacers' sixth consecutive win and perhaps their biggest win of the year. The Pacers held Cleveland to season lows of 39.8% shooting and 93 points and handed Cleveland just its fifth loss of the season, 108-93 in Cleveland on Sunday evening. The Pacers trailed 10-0 early and by as many as 14 points, 59-45, with 9 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third quarter. It didn't look good with Tyrese Halliburton declared out for the second half with a hamstring injury. Instead, Indiana outscored the Cavs 63-34 the rest of the way to hand them their second home loss of the season. Mike Rich joined me after the game with his reaction. That is episode 144.5. Andrew Nembhard dominated down the stretch and had a team-best 19 points for Indiana. Pascal Siakam had 18 points, Miles Turner 15. Benedict Mathurin and Obi Toppin scored 12. Thomas Bryant was 5 for 5 from the field with 11 points, and young Jarris Walker finished with 8 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block shot in just 22 minutes off the bench. The Pacers are up to 5th place in the Eastern Conference after their 6th consecutive win. They are trailing 4th place Orlando by just a half game. The Pacers and Cavs play again Tuesday evening in Indianapolis. That game is on TNT. Purdue went over 100 points for the first time this season, blowing out a good Nebraska team 104-68. The 19th ranked and two-time defending Big Ten champion Boilermakers are now 5-1 in conference play. They're a half game behind Michigan and Michigan State, who are both 5-0. It's Purdue's 6th straight win since the ugly loss against number 2 Auburn and Indy on December 21st, and 5 straight Big Ten wins since opening conference play by losing at Penn State on December 5th. The host Boilermakers shot 63% from the field and made 19 of their 33 three-point attempts. Braden Smith had another incredible night with 8 points and 14 assists. Taking advantage of those assists were freshman C.J. Cox, who had a career-high 23 points in 23 minutes. His career high had been 16 points in the loss to Auburn on December 21st. Cox was 9 for 11 from the field and 5 for 7 from behind the three-point stripe. Trey Kaufman-Wren had 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists, and Miles Colvin had 14 points off the Purdue bench. Purdue goes to Washington Wednesday to face the 10-7 Huskies. The game is at 9:30 p.m. and is on the Big Ten Network. Nebraska is 12-4 and was led by 17 points from junior Connor Essegian, a Fort Wayne native. 3-game Sunday in the NFL. In the final game of the night, Washington won its first playoff game since 2005 by winning in Tampa 23-20 on a 37-yard field goal off the upright and in by Zane Gonzalez as time expired late Sunday. Jaden Daniels became the fourth rookie quarterback in NFL history to win a road playoff game. Earlier in the day in the NFC, the Eagles' defense dominated the Packers in a 22-10 win in Philly. The Eagles had 3 interceptions, and Nolan Smith Jr. sacked Jordan Love twice as the Eagles return to the divisional round. That sets up next week's NFC divisional round. Washington will be at Detroit on Saturday at 8, while Monday's winner between the Rams and Vikings will be in Philadelphia on Sunday afternoon. In the AFC, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills took care of business with a 31-7 win over Denver in the first game Sunday. Denver scored on its first series. The Bills scored the final 31 points. So next weekend in the AFC, it will be the Texans in Kansas City on Saturday at 3:30 and the Ravens in Buffalo on Sunday at 6:30 in the divisional round. In some recent high school sports news, both Alexandria's Jack Hosier, who has 1,919 career points, and Pendleton's Casey Warfel has 1,908, passed Frankton's Kelsey Key on Madison County's all-time scoring list, according to a tweet from the Herald Bulletin's Rob Hunt. They are now ranked 3rd and 4th all-time in Madison County. Warfel also passed Kellum Dunham as the Arabians' all-time leading scorer, boys or girls. Sheridan's Caleb Wright went over 1,000 points for his career in Saturday's 74-56 win over Rossville. 12-0 Fishers remains number 1 in the latest single-class IBCA boys coaches poll. Crown Point is number 2. Greenfield Central is number 3. Lawrence Central is 4 and Cathedral 5. Anderson is ranked 9th, heading into Monday's Madison County Championship game against Liberty Christian. And some football news. Mississinawa star linebacker Jackson Ott announced on Twitter that he will continue his football career at the Air Force Academy. On January 6th, Delta named Jeremy Lochner its new head coach. And Eastbrook grad Lochner has coached at Taylor, Anderson, and Indiana Wesleyan at the college level as an assistant coach. And he had been an assistant coach the last 2 years at Mississinawa. Former Northwestern head coach Caleb Small took the same job at Kokomo. Small is a Hamilton Heights grad and led the Tigers to a 9-2 record last season, a 6-game improvement over 2023 in his only season at Northwestern. Coming up early this week in boys basketball, 2A number 12 Tipton is at Wabash. 2A number 10 Taylor visits Eastbrook. Oak Hill goes to Southwood, and Muncie Central is at Burris, all on Tuesday evening. It's Burris's first game since December 14th. Then the Delaware County tournament starts Wednesday, including 2A number 1 Wapahani at 9-2 Delta right off the bat. That game is at 6 o'clock at Delta. And coming up early this week in girls basketball, a huge one in Sheridan, where sectional favorites Lapel and Sheridan go head-to-head Tuesday at 7:30 at Sheridan. The Bulldogs are 12-6 and have won 8 of their last 9. Sheridan is 14-1 and has won 12 in a row. Hamilton Heights is at Western on Tuesday at 7:30 in a big Hoosier Conference East game. Western is 2-0 in the conference. Hamilton Heights is 1-0. The winner is going to be division champion. And 13th ranked Oak Hill goes to 6-4 Northwestern on Wednesday. Oak Hill is 16-1 and has won 12 straight. The same night, Eastbrook is at Wabash. Don't forget that we will have reports on boys basketball, girls basketball, and wrestling coming up early this week, including a wrestling girls regional recap that we will release Monday morning, and our girls and boys basketball's weekend review, which will be out Tuesday morning. We will also continue to have Colts, Pacers, Purdue, IU, Ball State, Anderson, Indiana Wesleyan, Taylor, and IUK updates throughout the week. I'll also be joined sometime this week by Eric and Ryan Robinson to talk about college football in our college football report. And Will Rutherford will join me to discuss the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, college football, college basketball, and maybe even a little Major League Baseball on Will Rutherford's 5 questions that need answers. Thank you for listening. Please go like, subscribe, or follow so you don't miss a single segment of the Central Indiana Sports Report. And we're growing fast, but we'd love to grow even faster. You can help by telling a friend about the Central Indiana Sports Report. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.